So the Game Awards happened. They used to be the VJs. They used to be on Spike TV. Jeff Keighley produces and hosts it. And very mixed feelings about the award show overall. I'll just start by my major problems with it is that, you know, the board of directors of the show are all the major video game companies, first and foremost. You know, so you know that going into watching the Game Awards, and now it's only on the internet, it's not on any network anymore. I'd say 75% is advertisements for upcoming games. You have to know that going into watching the show. Obviously, that's where the money comes from to make this. But you have to know that they get together in a room. Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Nintendo. They all contribute to this project. They are on. You watch the credits. They are part of this. And hell, they help introduce it. I mean, it was introduced by Reggie Fils-Aimé. Introduced the Video Game Awards. So it's like it's not. This is totally being run by the people that have an interest in it. Which again, you don't want to see that. But it's almost like you have to. It's not like it's gotten to the point where movies where at least they have a disconnect on the Oscars. Here, that it's not at all. Obviously, it's not.
Right. I don't think video games are necessarily big enough yet for an award show like that. It's why I don't watch it though. It doesn't seem. It feels like a dog and pony show. It doesn't feel reputable. None of it seems like it's for real. It all seems kind of fake. All the winners are pretty much predictable and mailed in. But every once in a while on these shows you get something that's pretty interesting. And I looked it up as soon as I heard about it. Ken and Roberta Williams were honored on it, which is a pretty damn big deal. Just because they are not modern and they are not...
Well, they have been involved in video games like 15 years.
Right. So they're not necessarily names that would resonate with a large portion of the modern gaming audience. Yet the Game Awards felt the need to bring them on. And
Ken and Roberta Williams were the founders of Sierra. Ken Williams basically ran the company. Roberta Williams obviously worked on a lot of games. Obviously, her huge claim to fame is the King's Quest series. She was, to me, she's the grandmother or mother of video games because of that. She's the first big name that established a franchise. I think she was also involved in Gabriel Knight to some extent, but I don't think she was the main. She wasn't the main author of that.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was someone completely else.
But then there was a few other game series she was involved with, but obviously the big one is King's Quest. But this is what I'm going to get into, though, is that they were honored for a few minutes. They came out and spoke.
They did a nice presentation on them.
It was nice. The guy who introduced them was very heartfelt. You can tell. It got the amount of applause I expected. There was some polite applause. Some people, I'd say 10% of the people were really thrilled, and the other 90%, who the hell, they don't like, who are these old people that we don't know who they are.
Right.
But then, of course, Activision is revealed that there's a new King's Quest game coming out. I'm not even going to talk about the quality of the game. I will ask this question, though. Do you think there's any chance in hell they would have honored Ken and Roberta Williams if it wasn't for Activision coming out with a new King's Quest game?
No, but that doesn't make it any less nice to see them getting recognition. But no, they would not have just pulled them up for no goddamn reason.
But if they were only used as the preface and introduction to the trailer, which is what they were, basically they spoke for a few minutes, and they did get a chance to speak. And they looked great. Roberta Williams looks fantastic.
She hasn't aged a freaking day.
She's got to be closing on 60. She looks fantastic.
Ken honestly doesn't look that much different than he did either.
I mean, obviously they started the Sierra like probably the early 20s back in like 70. It's like 78 about.
Steady diet of baby blood. I had to keep them looking young.
Up in the Sierras.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But I mean that's what bothered me the most. The game looks fine. I think it's supposed to be you think you're King Arthur again, or at least Arthur in the new game. It looks like it's a 3D platformer with some puzzle involved in the trailer. So it looks like they're trying to get some elements in there from the games, but obviously they're going to have to update it to have some sort of interactive adventuring besides puzzle games.
What I liked was when you look at the trailer, and we can only go based on the trailer, there was almost no combat highlighted. As a matter of fact, I don't remember seeing any combat.
Well, he had a bow and arrow.
Oh, he had a bow and arrow. But who's to say that's not part of a puzzle? I mean, that's the only thing they showed. And then, what I think the game is going to end up being is I think it'll probably end up being similar to the Telltale series of games. There's that segment where he's going down the river on the slab and he's jumping a few things. So I'm going to assume that it's going to be a lot of puzzle solving like we saw in the traditional games, but then I'm sure there's going to be some quick time elements that lead to deaths and things like that you have to redo.
That was my only problem with it. It's great that they present it to them, but they should have presented to them after the reveal, I believe, because then like the last half they were just awkwardly off to the side while the new developer comes on and talks for like 3 minutes, and it's like that's kind of a slap in their faces.
It probably should have been revealed first.
Yes, they should have revealed. This is King's Quest, because what's the difference if the audience didn't know what King's Quest was anyway? They weren't going to automatically start caring because of a 3-minute vignette.
Sure.
Let's be honest, they're not going to give a shit either way if they didn't play those games. Also, they're not going to go, oh, there's a point-and-click adventure game I never played or care about the genre. I'm going to care about the remake. No, they should have showed the original, then brought them out as a surprise. I would have marked out probably even more if that was the case, if it was like that. Versus let's just get these people down here to help promote our game next year. Mm-hmm. That just rubbed me really the wrong way, and that goes to show you why these game awards, there's so much just unless they separate from the industry itself, you can't have an award show unless you separate from the industry you're trying to give out awards to. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree. I mean, my nostalgia for the adventure game era, I mean, I played tons of them in the 80s and the 90s, and honestly I was really split between Sierra and LucasArts.
Of course, like most people were. Those were the two big dominant companies.
My warmth for them, I kind of let that take me away from the fact that, like you said, it was kind of insulting. But overall, I can't watch those things. I wait until after the fact. I didn't know about Ken and Roberta until after the fact.
Me too.
Which is probably why it bothered me less at the time as well, because the first time I watched it separate from the trailer, without any idea of the ordering. They're just painful to watch. And everyone, I think it's funny, and people are gonna, it's even people on my Twitter feed, so I'm not just taking fucking stabs at no one. Everyone talks about how much they suck and how they're not gonna watch them, and then every year during the Video Game Awards, my fucking Twitter feed is blown up with people commenting on this shit.
That's it. That's the only awards they have, and then it's like it's presented like the Oscars, so you think it has some significance when it really doesn't. When it's really,
but if they're dog shit, why would you watch just because it's the only thing? I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, it's not like. We can go off of this for hours about how this is structured, and obviously it's the industry money that makes it go, and we already said they're basically on the board constructing. Nintendo would not have said we're going to give you money to probably help do this unless we can promote all our games, and basically every company had their own speaker come out, the Sony president comes out, and talks about their, you know what I mean? It's just, what's going to happen.